So you want to know which marketing channel has the highest ROI to date in the digital space, at least one of the highest ROI. That is email marketing. I'm Josh Weber, co-founder and CEO of Big Red Jelly. We're going to talk about email marketing and 3 simple steps on how you can get started with email marketing, and if you're already doing it, how you can improve. First things first, this is from a HubSpot report, which is a popular CRM. I trust this data. Average ROI ranging from 3,600% to 4,200 marketing ROI. I know that sounds fake, but I'll explain why email is so underrated and undervalued, right? So making it one of the most effective marketing channels. E-commerce brands, average ROI is high, often at $72 per $1 spent. And you can take that a step further with segmented campaigns, which we'll talk about. Targeted segmented campaigns can lead to a 760% increase in revenue. So the first principle I want to talk about is why email marketing. Your email list is something that you own. If you are on social media or you have a website with a CMS like Shopify or Wix or Drupal, or Webflow, you don't actually own that asset. You're renting space from Meta or Instagram. You're renting space from TikTok or Shopify or Wix or Webflow. I'm not saying that those are going to disappear overnight, but they might not be around forever. We've seen changes in how Meta ad campaigns work. We've seen changes in pricing with hosting or your tech stack when it comes to Wix or Shopify or some other CMS. But your email list is something that belongs to you. And so really understanding that your email list is your audience in the digital space is really important to know. And so that leads me to step number 2, which is building your list of contacts. It's better to have a smaller, more interested and more specific list than a really big list of people that kind of don't know who you are or don't care what you do. So I'd much rather have 100 email subscribers that are advocates of my brand and fit my ICP, my ideal client profile or target audience, rather than 10,000 of just random strangers or people maybe that I have some contact info for. And that's an ongoing process, by the way. You should be curating and cleaning up your email list over time. Because if your email list builds and builds and builds, and you're looking at your open rate, your click-through rate, your conversions, and those are dropping, that's usually a telltale sign that your email list is getting out of control. And you have people in there that just are not interested in what you do. You're spamming them at that point. Well, Josh, I've got no email contacts. Before we address that, the first step is to have an email marketing tool. Most CRMs have an email marketing tool. MailChimp, Constant Contact, High Level, HubSpot, Salesforce. Choose the CRM and the email marketing tool that works for you. A lot of these platforms have a free version that you can get used to the tools and how to send emails. A CRM should do some basic things, right? It should organize and categorize your contacts, your leads, your deals, and it should have some marketing tools attached to that so you can start to promote your product and service to your audience. The next step then is to start to build your email list. And I get that question a lot, right? Josh, I've got MailChimp. I don't have any contact. I would love to do email marketing, but I've got no one to send my emails to. Where do I start? Start with your own contact, especially if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're a marketer. You can go into your Gmail and find your top contacts. And you have to be careful. You can't automatically enroll people into an email newsletter, but you can start to reach out to them and say, hey, I have an email newsletter, would you like to subscribe? Other ways to capture and build your email list would be embedding that subscription form onto your website. Maybe you have a QR code if you're brick and mortar. Maybe you put it into your social media bios on your business account. But this is where most businesses go wrong. And I know that you'll sympathize with what I'm about to say. Most email newsletters and email marketing really is just pretty useless. It's spammy. And so my biggest suggestion is add value. Give a potential customer a reason why they should subscribe. One of the best things you can do is just educate people, constantly be adding value. If you want to learn on how to be a good email marketer, one of the best things you can do is go subscribe to some newsletters of people who do it well. HubSpot's a great example. MailChimp is a great example. If you're in the product or B2C space, choose some of your favorite brands. For every one email where you're selling something, right? Hey, we have a promo going on. We have 10% off, 25% off. For every one of those kind of salesy emails, you should have 3 or 4 that are just value add. So that's what builds your tribe. And you don't want to be overly selling your customers and clients, or they'll unsubscribe. The final part is the fun part. This is the part that people think about. It's like, well, what do I put in my email? How many emails do I send? I'm not going to give you a black or white answer here. There's a lot of data depending on your industry. But before you even address that question, always come back to who am I sending it to and what value am I providing, right? Would I read this email? Would I care about this email? And do some of that research. Reach out to your customers, talk to your employees, talk to your people, right? Get some qualitative data about your email. One of the reasons why I love email marketing is it's a simple analytical approach to see what's working, what you need to change. For example, when you send out an email blast or an email newsletter to your 1,000 contacts, and you look at the data in your CRM, the first metric I like to look at is what's my open rate. Now, some might argue, what's my deliverability rate? If your emails are going to spam, there are processes and tools that you can use to fix that. But that is important to solve. But let's assume your deliverability rate is good, or where it should be. There's a lot of different numbers out there in terms of what's a good open rate, depending on your industry again. But if your open rate is lower than what it should be, really, for me, it comes down to 2 main things. What time and day did you send the email? And then number 2, what's your subject line? Right? That's it. Like, that's as simple as it gets. And so if you're open, so you can look at those 2 things and you can start to A/B test. Generally speaking, I'll speak for Big Red Jelly, I don't love to send email newsletters Friday afternoon or first half of Monday. I would even argue Mondays and Fridays. Why? Because Fridays, people are clocking out early. They're kind of checked out from work. It's kind of the last thing they want is an email. Now, that might be different if you own a pool, right? Or some sort of weekend excursion. Maybe that's the perfect, a date night type thing. Again, A/B test it. Different times of the day, right, et cetera. Then that second thing is that subject line. And this is where you really got to practice. And you can A/B test, right? What is a subject line that would make you say, oh, that's interesting, I'm going to click? It's just so dependent on your audience, and what your business does that's better or different than the competition. So those are the 2 that will influence your open rate. And so that's the first step in the email marketing funnel, right? How do I get my emails to my contacts? How do I get a higher percentage to open my email? The next statistic or number that I look at is engagement rate, and some people say click-through rate, right? So maybe I have a really high open rate. Maybe 40% of my emails are opened by my contacts. So some are, again, depending on your industry, might be 5%, might be 10%. That's probably really good, actually. Like in the B2B space, if I saw anywhere around 20 to 25% engagement or click-through rate, I'd be through the moon, right? 1 in every 4 people are clicking through that email into something that we want them to, would be really effective. So it's usually a smaller number. But if your engagement rate or your click-through rate is lower than what it should be, then that means the material in your email is subpar, right? And that means you need to focus on what's in the email, right? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but I lean toward these principles of provide value first, right? Do not come in with the pitch or the sale. Maybe every once in a while there's a promotion that you're doing, a special discount, etc. But provide value, be interesting, educate, right? Add background, add context, help the reader feel like I am better off after having read that email. One thing that we do here at Big Red Jelly, for example, we use HubSpot as our CRM and email marketing tool. And we have a very nicely designed, pretty email template that's got, graphics and visuals and videos and buttons and photos of the team and case studies. And that's cool, it's part of our newsletter. But then we also have, every 6 months or so, we have a founder email, which comes from my personal email, josh@bigredjelly.com, to all of our contacts on our list. And that's just a text email. It's a Gmail. It looks like a regular old Gmail. I'll let you guess which one gets the most click-through and engagement. So you can get kind of creative with how you do email marketing. It's not just that pretty newsletter that gets sent out all the time. The final step is to automate and get specific. One of the first automations for you to set up is when someone fills out a contact form or they subscribe to your email, have it set them as a marketing contact, and this is a little bit different in each CRM, and then enroll them into an email sequence or an email workflow, or enroll them in your monthly or bi-weekly or weekly newsletter. Right? And you can build out these newsletters ahead of time. And so this is just working smarter, not harder. It's now taking one person, especially if you're a solopreneur, you're the only marketer on your team, that's a great high leverage activity for you to do, automating that process. The other recommendation with automation using your CRM is just making the emails as personalized and targeted as possible, right? This is probably a video for another time, but the more personalized your emails, the better. Really easy to have your emails pull in their name for obvious reasons, right? Hey Josh, it's February, can you believe that? Here's what's happening. By the way, here's a special promotion, you know, blah, blah, blah. So you can pull in first name, you can pull in company name, pull in some personalization into your emails, for heaven's sake, right? The days are gone where it's just a general email and I'm clearly still a stranger to this brand and this company. Related to that, finally, is once you go through these steps and you're seeing the ROI, and you will, I guarantee it, if you go through these steps, then you can take it to the advanced level and start creating segmented lists. So for example, maybe you're a B2B company like we are, and we've got our master list of contacts, right? But we have some contacts that are really passionate about branding. Some in that list that are only interested in logo design or graphic design, right? Having that segment in our list, and you can send them down those email tracks, or if we're doing a special campaign or an offer or a promo, we know which list is going to be most interested, right? This is advertising 101. The more specific you get, the more engagement you're going to get, the higher the conversion rates will be, the higher your return on investment will be. Eventually getting to a point where you have different segments in your list, and that's when the fun really begins. So, email marketing, it's a great undervalued channel. I think still by far one of the most undervalued channels. You can do your own research and see what the ROI is. Be patient with yourself, take it one step at a time, and just go through those steps, right? First is research and understand why email matters, and it matters for you. Step 2, build your list, set up your CRM, right? Step 3, add value and think about the messaging to your customers and clients. And then finally, at the end, look for ways to automate that so you can save yourself hours of time and you create that growth flywheel. So good luck out there and give email marketing a try. Thank you.